good morning. Guys, as we're dealing about the topic of motivation, I just wanted to ask you a small question. It's not small question, but it's just a type of note or information which I actually wanted to give you. Guys, who in our life is continuously motivating us? Though we are so much ambitious enough, some of us are self-motivated and some of us being motivated by others. But still, despite of having these two categories, we still have someone who always tries to motivate us, and these people are our parents, teachers, and our friends. Guys, parents, from the time when you were born and you have to get joined in a school, they think which is the best school for you to join, which is the best college for you to join. They are always motivating us each and every day. Like, see, you have to join this particular course because that is going to take you and you can able to reach your goal, and you can live with flying colors without living your life miserably, right? So in each and every time they are going to indirectly motivate us. Still, sometimes we say that, oh, why are they telling all this? But still, at the end, we know what are its consequences, right? Now coming to our own beloved teachers. Guys, in each and every phase of every human being, we cannot forget one person, that is our teachers. They not only impart knowledge only from our textbooks, but also their moral ethics and also their own experiences which they faced in their life. They're going to tell us not that they have to boast about themselves, but it is like they are giving us that this is how the present world is. This is how the society is asking you questions. This is the type of competition which you actually face when you're outside the school or when you're outside your college, in the university and your workplace. Guys, we'll be having, the irony is, we'll be having any number of complaints about these teachers, but at the end, when the time has come for us to leave our own school, we just get, our school journey is memorable. And it is irreplaceable also. Is it not right? Is it not, guys? Right? Each and every one, even me now studying graduation, still I have that feel. School memories are literally memorable. Not only for me, for each and every one, because we have a childishness over there, and we'll miss it because of our own education and our own goals. And at that point of time when we say that our school education has get ended, we'll still have tears rolling down our eyes saying that no, that has never ended, because those memories are irreplaceable. Now, coming to our own friends who support us at each and every sorts of things, it will be like, even in silly things, when you are ready to fight with some person, they say, go, you can do it. Or even in that type of critical situation, when you're called upon this dais and to speak some few words about one particular competition being held, they'll be the first person, or they will be instigating you in order to raise your hand and go there and speak also. They are such type of friends, and you will face all the silly memories with them. You will do all sorts of naughty things with them, and they are also the one who try to motivate you in each and everything. Am I right or not, guys? I just wanted to inform you this because I was thinking to do some interesting things on motivation to explain to you. Then I thought this is really more interesting than, because that's just reminiscing our nostalgic moments. Okay, now we usually talk about more successful people, right? Anyone, while giving some examples in any of your statistical data, your researches, your analysis, you talk mostly about your successful people, because you see that they are worth to be called as successful, right? Guys, we have so many successful people like Abdul Kalam, Nelson Mandela. We talk about Steve Jobs, we talk about Jeff Bezos, we talk about Satya Nadella. We talk about them because they're successful, because we are glanced by their public glories, but not the private sacrifices which they made in order to reach that goal, right? Guys, we all have goals to reach, but because of some consequences, and that is if they are really very much necessary for you, you will undergo them, or you will forego your goals. But when there is no necessity for you, just stay self-motivated. Though you have so much negativity vibes around you, like your Wi-Fi, still you have to be motivated. Motivation is something which is going to take us so far, guys. You can't even imagine that this is the only concept which is going to take you so far. And demotivated leads you to your depression, anxiety disorders. Why do you want to spoil your health irrespectively? So coming back to our own topic, we stopped near learning 2 theories of motivation, and today it's time for us to learn the other theory of motivation and also the economic and as well as other non-economic motivating factors, and we're going to end this chapter, right? So we have learned about needs theories and operant learning theories, and today it's time for us to learn process theories. Guys, why is process theory being so different because from the needs theory and operant learning theory? And that was the main reason which stopped me from explaining in that particular earlier video, because both needs theory and operant learning theory deal something with satisfaction and deal something with the hygienic needs or needs of a human being, but process learning theory is transcend, like it is reinforcement of those two theories, because it gives a clear insight about the brain of a human being, why you are demotivated, what makes you do so, and what is your inner lying feeling about this organization, and why once you're so much satisfied with that particular job, now you get dissatisfied. So that gives you a clear and distinctive insight about you without your knowledge. So under this process theory, we are going to learn about two theories. Under process theories, we are going to learn about two theories. First is your distributive justice and equity theory. Second is your expectancy theory. Guys, distributive justice, the word itself is so much self-explanatory, and this was proposed by George Human. Besides leaving his own biography, this particular person and the psychologist, he was inspired by Maslow's theory and tried to propose this new process theory. And he says the motivation factor should be a relation as well as a ratio between the outcome, that is the result of your own self as you're working as an employee in the organization, along with your input. What are the materials which you are taking in order to, here materials doesn't mean your raw materials which I'm going to calculate quantitatively, but it is your mental health which I'm going to take into consideration over here. So it's just stating a quantitative relationship between your output as well as income. So guys, justice is, for each and everyone there should be equal opportunity given, there should be no discrimination and equal choice to speak, right to be heard. You have to give them equal opportunity, right? So giving a quantitative formula, this George Human have given distributive justice as your outcomes self by income inputs of self. That is, you're gonna not you won't be in a position in order to judge your motivation, but also the managers will be in a position to get an insight about you. Guys, this particular equation, like your outcomes by your inputs, you'll get a ratio there. If the ratio is 1, that means the person is satisfied and the person has high level of motivation. But if it is greater than 1, it means the person is little bit upset, but not as when the ratio is below 1. It means the person is so much demotivated and the person won't be able to do the job also. Because I told you in the first video, right, your satisfaction and your motivation levels are interchangeably used, and when you have high motivation and your low satisfaction, that means, what is your high motivation and your low satisfaction do? You will be able to do the job, but still you will search for another job also, right? And when you have high satisfaction, low motivation, it is that your job performance will be low. So that's the reason both your motivation and satisfaction are interlinked to each other. So this is the distributive justice which was given by George Hyman. Now, in the distributive theory, I also mentioned a phrase called equity theory. What is equity theory? So distributive is I am distributing my production, like I'm not burdening the work, but I'm distributing equally, right? Equity is my ratio should also be equal to the other colleague's ratio, and this was given by J. Stacy Adams, and he was also a psychologist. When knowing about this distributive justice theory given by George, he thought about why not equity theory, because equity theory is outcomes by inputs which equals to outcomes of other person and the inputs of the other person. Guys, the implication of this particular theory is that there should be an equal outcome as well as the equal input when compared with compare one employee with the other employee, like for an individual in comparison with the other people working in the organization. And if one feels that he is inadequately rewarded than the other person, that leads to get decrease in your motivation. You feel demotivated because you are doing same piece of work and you're doing in the same quantity of time which has been provided to both the people, but still you are inadequately rewarded, whereas the other person is sufficiently rewarded. So that tends to create a small instinct in your brain saying that no, I am not fit for this job. And this is the mental trauma which an employee faces when there is discrimination in the remuneration paid by the organization. So to overcome this particular problem, Stacy Adams has given this particular theory, and this is being used in most of the organizations. Guys, believe me or not, Microsoft used this type of theory at their starting era of their firm. So that is the importance of such motivation theories. Nowadays, people think this motivation and all such leadership are not such important concepts, though they are intangible. They are going to reveal the character of a human being. Now, learning about the second most important theory is your expectancy theory. This expectancy theory is explained by Victor, and he holds this particular theory as itself being so much motivated to do things in order to reach a goal. Because guys, whoever over here, right over here, if you think you can achieve, you will do it because of your hard work behind it, right? So if you think you can't do it, nevertheless at any point of time you won't be able to do it. Sometimes when you have that feeling of demotivation, then you feel though you have a goal and though you want to achieve it, because of some negativity vibes, you don't do it, right? That shouldn't be the clause for an employee in order to get motivated. He says force is equal to valence into expectancy. Now, when I'll tell you the words of the meaning, not the force is the word which is used in your physics or your sciences, but here force is the strength of person's motivation. The strength of person's motivation is equal to valence into expectancy. What is valence? Valence is an individual's preference to a particular outcome, and your expectancy is the outcome which an employer will actually have in his brain. That is a type of the expectation, right? Why do he say that these two multiplication will be your strength of motivation? Is when your strength of motivation will be high, then your preferred outcome as well as your expectancy outcome will match with each other. So that means that you are able to work in an organization with a high motivation as well as high satisfaction. And there you won't even have any feeling of negativity around you, but you are filled in with the positivity vibes all around you. Guys, we have to stay optimistic, and that is in our hands. We shouldn't get influenced by the people, right? So now we have finished learning about these theories of motivation. Now it's time for us to learn the motivation strategy. This is a particular strategy formulated by most of the companies in order to motivate their employees. Guys, employee motivation is the level of energy, commitment and creativity in your organization. Because people say that motivation is a lighter concept, that you just need to give them more money, they get motivated. But it is not like that. Motivation is something more complex top concept that won't be able to be understand by you, because when you think you cannot do it, you'll obviously cannot, you will end up not doing it itself. So it is so much complex that it have a major impact on the creativity and productivity of the organization. So in order to overcome, they have strategies. So first strategy of there would be the obvious answer, that is your economic rewards. They'll pay you more incentives, they'll pay you more bonuses, remuneration. If you do OT, that is your overtime, then you'll have extra money paid to you. Now that because of this amid lockdown due to COVID-19, many of the work from home jobs have this economic rewards given. Because when the company wants your productivity to get completed within a span of time, then it expects all the employees to work little more extra than they actually do. Now you have what do I say now, you have the second most important reward as your okay, I'll only fill in the answer. It's your empowerment. Guys, giving employees proper responsibility, proper authority in order to complete a task, in order to accomplish the project and submit within the stipulated time, doesn't feel them getting empowered. It is like you need to give them personal feedbacks. Not only personal feedbacks, it is, guys, people working for so long time sitting in one particular system, they have frustration. You need to overcome those feelings of frustration by giving them breaks. You need to empower them. That is like you have to enrich them, enhance them. You need to provide them such type of encouragement. That might be physically or mentally, but you need to provide that encouragement. Then moreover, what do you say is empowerment will enable an employee to have ownership of ideas, at the same time accomplishments, whether he is acting alone or in a group. Next, your most important strategy which an organization takes is your psychic rewards. Formal psychic rewards have symbolic significance right now, guys, because it enables to spotlight an individual or a team's outstanding contribution. But still you have informal psychic rewards, like giving them personal feedbacks, giving them personal opinion about what you actually think, and trying to be cordial with the employees. That enables to increase their emotional strength, and also it will increase their maturity in order to understand and get a better comprehensive things about the organization, what the organization wants from an employee. So this is a type of strategy played physically mentally with your brain. Now, creativity and innovation. By creativity and innovation, when you provide opportunities for them in order to encourage influx of new ideas, at the same time when you accept such ideas and implement those ideas, they will be more powerful. Then they say that, yeah, my idea has been implemented because of the knowledge I know, and that is because they get motivated and they take the initiative in order to complete that particular task. Am I right? Now the next would be your learning. Guys, each and every employee, when they start working in your organization, they tend to stop a concept called learning, and it will be the company's responsibility in order to increase the learning of an employee. You enriching your own people in your knowledge in your organization is therefore very much important, because when a person is trying to enrich himself and enhance his knowledge, that will increase his career growth. At the same time, in your organization, there will be job enrichment, right? So this would be considered as most important motivation strategy which employees takes place in this present era. Next, coming to your quality of life. In the present social environment, it has been found that quality of life plays a most important role, and you have to work right early in the morning to night. So it is not the quality of life which a company have to provide to you. It is like they have to have flexible working hours and proper working conditions which will enable you to work with an outstanding performance and impeccably increase your productivity. Guys, anyone, in order to increase their performance, it is just your motivation. And when the employer finds you demotivated, he takes all these such steps in order to increase your motivation. Guys, we, in order to succeed in our own life, one thing which we have to do, guys, take up an idea, okay, dream of it, think of it, fill your entire life with that particular idea. Don't let other ideas to overcome that idea. Your brain, your nerves, your muscles, each and every part of your body should be filled with that particular idea, so that the other idea won't be able to take that place. At the same time, you will have an instinct in your brain always taking that you have to work towards this idea, you have to work towards this idea. That is a type of call reminder which your brain gives to you. So in order to succeed, just stay on one idea. And in our next video, we are going to learn about the most asked topic, that is staff leadership. Guys, leadership is also going to be very much interesting because we have so many styles. At the same time, we have so many types of leaders which we are going to deal. So stay tuned for the upcoming video, and thank you.